So today's talk is going to be about the gut and also exercise. And most importantly, after this session is over, there will be a complimentary gift that will be sent to your email. So before I start, okay, let's hear a few words from our resident doctor first. Then we can proceed with the session. Dr. Stephanie?
Hello, good evening. First off is thank you so much for joining this webinar. This is actually an awareness program because with all the current illnesses going around, especially now, rainy season, so influenza is on the rise, dengue is on the rise. So we are here today to talk about prevention, how to enhance the immune system. We want to look more into the cellular level from the cells, and of course, it always starts from the gut and how exercise can improve the body. We will have about 20 minutes between Coach Ho and then myself for the presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Stephanie. Coach Ho, a few quick words before we begin the session with Dr. Stephanie's slides.
Sure. Hey everyone, I am Master Coach Ho from my company Ho Liao Fitness. I'm also based in Penang. I have been working with Eternal Clinic for I think more than a year already. I am a patient of them and also a business partner of them as well. So we work very closely with each other. My role is more towards on helping Malaysians all over the country optimizing their health and fitness, not just purely from an exercise point of view, but holistically, including my three main pillars, which is like optimal nutrition, exercise, as well as recovery, which I will talk a little bit more in my sharing later. So thanks for joining, and also thanks to Eternal Clinic for inviting me to do this co-hosting. Joining this webinar is absolutely free of charge, and you will learn a lot today. Back to you, Bernard.
Thank you, Coach Ho. Thank you. Okay, so now without further ado, we'll have Dr. Stephanie's session now. Dr. Stephanie?
My topic for today is about gut health, and it is actually a very, very big topic. So I will try to summarize as much as possible and give everyone the knowledge so that you actually understand the foundation of total wellness. My name is Dr. Stephanie N. Sardar, and I am a medical doctor by profession, and I am an integrative and regenerative medicine practitioner. So I have been with Eternal Clinic and Wellness for approximately 10 years on and off, but right now I am the resident doctor here, and I am very proud to share my knowledge with everyone. So of course, this is a disclaimer. This presentation is for educational purpose. It is not where everyone comes for the webinar and take it as the gospel truth. It cannot replace a consultation with a qualified health professional. So obviously with a proper guidance, and then these treatments will be performed under supervision, then yes, you get to see results, okay? And of course, Coach Ho and myself, because we are imparting knowledge, we will not be responsible for any outcomes for those who use the information and be their own coach or doctor, okay? There must be proper guidance. So a little bit of background regarding Eternal Clinic and Wellness. We have been established in 2009. Initially, we started off as a single clinic in Sri Kembangan, where of course by support from our clients, our patients, and the trust, we have expanded. Majority of our centers are based in KL, and in Penang we have one clinic here where we have a clinic and a wellness center. So we look into holistic health, where holistic means we don't just treat the symptom. We want to look into the cellular level, right? And we believe in true health. So true health means we are not just looking for the absence of disease. Like for example, many people say, oh, I don't have cholesterol, I don't have sugar, I'm fine. Where you actually ignore the signs of malnutrition, inflammation. So we are trying to impart that knowledge to the public. Prevention is always better than cure. So what Eternal Clinic and Wellness do, what we do is we use conventional medicine and of course modern regenerative medicine with natural therapy to enhance the balance of the body, energy, vitality. So a lot of my clients and patients, when they come and see us, most of their complaints are insomnia. So in the presentation, we will talk about all these common symptoms. So our integrative approach is that we treat illnesses from the root cause so that you can take control of your health, not depend on a doctor, all right? Like for example, many clients tend to ask me, it is in the gene, so the gene is passed down, but the gene can be modified. That's why we have epigenetic testing, where we do DNA testing, which can be changed, where DNA is only 30% and lifestyle is 70%. Am I right, Coach Ho? Okay. So a little bit of my background. So I graduated from Crane. I am a medical doctor registered with Malaysian Medical Council. I have about 13 over years background of integrative and regenerative medicine, internal medicine, emergency medicine. Mostly my background is in primary care. I am an IACT and IASCT fellowship member, where this is more to stem cells. I am a life member of the SAARM. I was the former medical director at the Palace of the Golden Horses and also at New York Health and Spa Kuching. Currently, I am the medical doctor, the resident medical doctor at Eternal Clinic and Wellness based in Penang. And I do a lot of speech. I attend a lot of conference where I am a forum and a conference girl. So the overview of the gut. The gut is actually the digestive system. Now, a lot of people, when we mention gut, they always concentrate at intestinal area. Yes, which is true. However, the gut system actually starts from the oral cavity, the mouth. And what happens is a lot of people tend to forget their dental health. So this dental health, if there is bacteria or fungus, or even if you have fillings in the teeth, like amalgams, now all these can cause heavy metal toxicity. It can go into the bloodstream, it can accumulate in your gut system, that can block your absorption, so the digestion of food slows down, your production of essential nutrients slows down, your immune system, which if you Google, there are many research papers that shows 70 to 80% of your immune system is actually located in your gut system. Your happy hormones, your serotonin, your dopamine, about 90% in your gut system as well. That's why when you're hungry, you're always angry. When food goes in, you feel happy, right? So the gut is actually a very important organ or system that we must take care of. It's an ecosystem by itself. We have the good and the bad bacteria in the gut system. However, if there is an imbalance, which the word is dysbiosis, now this can cause a lot of symptoms like indigestion, bloating, acid reflux, gastritis, nausea, diarrhea, so on and so forth. So poor gut health leads to inflammation. Prolonged inflammation leads to chronic illnesses. And in the gut, which we will discuss further in the slide, if you have a thing called leaky gut, you may have undigested food in the bloodstream, which can trigger immune responses, and also parasites can go into the blood. And parasites, again, by research papers, you can Google and find all these write-ups and research papers. Parasites are linked to chronic diseases, especially cancer. Okay, so what is the gut? Right, the gut is a home of about 100 million neurons, right? Your nervous system. So that's why the gut is also known as the second brain. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, 70 to 80% of your immune cells are in your gut system. So are your neurotransmitters, your serotonin, your dopamine, right? And on top of that, it is the home of trillions of microbes, the good and the bad bacteria, like fungus, so on and so forth. And this is just a fun fact. Your DNA, all right, 20,000 of your gene is actually your human gene. The other 43% is actually made up of your microbe. So there is a lot of questions online. Are we humans 43%, made of microbes? Are we mostly microbes or are we human? So that is a fun question to go and read up tonight. That's why we do epigenetic testing. So later after the presentation, please feel free to ask. This is the digestive system, the gut system. So it starts from the mouth, it goes down to the esophagus, and of course, if you can see here, this is the liver, the gallbladder. Behind the stomach is the pancreas, the stomach. If you actually look at this area, there is a small tube here called the common bile duct. And then in this area here, the front, there are a lot of blood vessels. That's why after we eat, all the blood goes to the stomach, we will feel very tired, right? A lot of. So that can also indicate poor blood circulation. That's why we get bloating and indigestion, so on and so forth. Okay, and then after digestion and absorption in the large and small intestines, the digested material comes out as feces through the anus. So this is how our gut system works. What are the gut microbiomes? What is their role, right? So within the intestine, particularly the large intestine, as I mentioned earlier, there are trillions of microbes. So it is a very complex ecosystem. A lot of people tend to think, oh, my gut system is only for digestion. So it is not only for digestion, it is to strengthen your immune system. It is for your mental health. It is actually for your nutrient production. So a lot of people do not know that most of your essential nutrients are actually made in the gut, especially like your vitamin 12 and K and things like that. The gut is also responsible for weight control. So a lot of people tend to ask me, I exercise, I diet, I sleep, I take care of my lifestyle, I live a fairly healthy life, and yet my weight goes up. Do you know that your hormones are also linked to your gut? So I'll move on first. So as I mentioned earlier, parasite. How do we get parasites? Are only children allowed to take deworming medicine, for example? No. Even as adults, we are exposed to parasites. Why? Because we love our sushi. Sometimes we eat raw food, undercooked food, we eat outside food. So a lot of people don't realize that in their body, they are actually hosts for parasites. And these parasites and bad bacteria, good bacteria, when there is an imbalance, it is called dysbiosis. And these are the hidden triggers of chronic disease and cancer. So gut imbalance equals inflammation, as I mentioned earlier. Chronic inflammation leads to diseases. So what are the signs of poor gut health? You will of course have bloating, gas production, acid reflux, constipation. Sometimes you will even get food sensitivity, not allergy. Food sensitivities is that your immune system has developed a resistance to that food. So it is intolerant. So you may not have itchy skin, you may not have difficulty breathing. However, let's say you eat egg, you will feel bloated, you will get diarrhea, you will feel sleepy and tiredness. So this is actually intolerant, right? And of course, when you have poor gut health, you will tend to get moody. Some will even get anxiety. Some will even get, they might become forgetful, things like that. And of course, poor gut health, what happens on the inside, it has to come out somehow. So it tends to show on your skin because the second largest system in the body is your skin. Right? You have to sweat. Eczema and psoriasis and a few other skin sensitivity like dermatitis, it is actually linked to the gut as well. So a warning of, this is just a picture of the warning signs of an unhealthy gut. So what is the leaky gut syndrome? Leaky gut syndrome is where there is so much of inflammation inside the body due to oxidative stress or even poor absorption, things like this, where your immune system is weak and there is a higher immune response. So you have like the wall of the intestine is slightly open, it's permeable. And that is where all these particles can enter into the bloodstream. So what are the causes? Of course, poor diet, those who love to eat a lot of refined carbohydrate, processed food like burgers, spaghetti, things like this. Sometimes we tend to eat outside a lot because we do not have time to cook, for example. Chronic stress. Now, all this in the long term can lead to leaky gut. Why it matters? Again, it's more of a repeat. Inflammation. Why? Because there will be an immune response to this food and things like that. So on and so forth. So how does leaky gut affect body? It can affect anywhere in the body. Okay, it can actually cause digestive problems. It can cause hormonal imbalance. It can cause joint and muscle problems. It can cause sinus, things like that. Sore throat, you tend to get sick very often. right? Depression. So that is why a lot of people nowadays, they tend to go for probiotics. I'm not saying just probiotics is bad. It's not. It's good. But just probiotics alone, without actually looking at the whole picture, is like doing a half truth. So there's this joke where this person was flying a plane. After reading book one, he thought he knew everything. So flew the plane, took off, was very happy. But when it came to actually landing the plane, when he was reading the book one, it actually said, kindly refer to book two. So there you go. Knowing a half truth is more dangerous than actually knowing the whole truth. Okay, so if you look at this picture, you can see the gut is actually connected to many systems, many metabolic pathways, many processes. That means the gut is not just for digestion, it involves a lot of biochemical pathways. It involves a lot of physiological pathways in the body. So even there's a lot of clients or patients who would ask me, doctor, why do I have to take cholesterol medicine at night? Why I cannot take in the morning or the afternoon? I always tell them, your liver works at night when you are asleep. When you are awake, that is where your liver rests. So cholesterol medicine, when we sleep, cholesterol is converted into hormones, cholesterol is converted into all sorts of it does a lot of biochemical reactions in the body, usually at night. So that's why sleep is very important. If we don't sleep, your liver cannot work. And then you will get a lot of inflammation in the body, oxidative stress, mitochondrial dysfunction, metabolic syndrome, insomnia, so on and so forth. In the long run, you'll find out, oh, you have fatty liver. The good news is fatty liver can be reversed. But fatty liver is the root cause of a lot of problems. So a lot of people say, oh yeah, I got fatty liver for the past 10 years. But do you know that this fatty liver will increase your homocysteine, lower your testosterone, and then down the road you may get like, heart attack, stroke, or dementia or Alzheimer. So we are not looking for something to treat 24 hours. We are looking to treat something that can be prevented 10 years or 20 years down the road. So there are many tests for gut health actually out there. Of course, at Eternal Wellness and Clinic, we do a comprehensive blood test. We do ultrasound. We do a stool analysis, right, to check your nutritional status, to check your inflammatory markers, to check your hormonal balance, so on and so forth. We also do food intolerance tests because we want to see what sort of food can cause a delayed reaction of food sensitivity in the body. We, of course, do microbiome mapping, urea breath test, because a lot of people do not realize that this Helicobacter pylori can cause colorectal and stomach cancer, ulcers, bleeding, right? So this bacteria is actually something that is preventable. We just have to detect it and kill it. But if you do not go for a test, you do not test for this Helicobacter pylori, then this chronic inflammation will lead to something else in the future. And at Eternal Wellness and Clinic, we actually use something called the live blood analysis, where all we need is to take just one drop of your blood, look at your blood under the microscope, and then from that microscope, from that test, we can actually see your nutritional level, your inflammatory levels, how is your gut health at that level, at that moment, and we can also see parasites swimming in the blood. And you can actually see it in a big screen. So that is live blood analysis, live. All right. Gut health emerging trends. Nowadays, if you Google the types of treatments for gut in the US, Canada, so on and so forth, you may come across this word called FMT, or fecal microbiota transplant. So this fecal microbiota transplant is literally planting the good microbes back into your system. We also do colon hydrotherapy, coffee enema, Supplementation, yes, but we do not. We want you to be treated with a precise and sharp, uh, targeted point, not just testing here and there or guessing. We don't want a guessing game. We want a precise precision medicine. So how do we do that? Supplement, we don't treat it as vitamins and minerals only. We treat supplements as medicine. So as Hippocrates likes to say, let thy food be thy medicine and thy medicine be thy food, right? So from a thorough comprehensive blood test, we will prescribe to you what you need only. And supplements should not be taken as a forever and ever thing. It changes with the body. The body is ever changing, right? So please, when you want to take supplements, it's not wrong. However, we want you to be a smart consumer. Okay? Of course, now there is stem cells and live cell therapy, which can help. However, we don't encourage that as the first line because, as the word says, stem cell, it's life, right? It's a cell. If there is inflammation in the body ongoing, no matter how much cells you put in the body, with all the inflammation and malnutrition, lack of uh, biochemical and physiological processes in the body, that cell is going to die. So this is why we want everyone to understand. Okay, so these are the examples of food for a healthy gut. So food like yogurt and kefir, these are food that contains probiotics. Prebiotics, you can actually have take like garlic and onion, our spices. Actually Asian food is very good for the gut because we have Indian food, Chinese food, Malay food, all sorts of variety. And that is the importance of building the gut system, variety. So if you do not eat this or you do not eat that, then your body is going to not have a diverse ecosystem. Okay? And foods to avoid: sugar, gluten, processed food, oily food, alcohol, dairy, right? This kind of food are called pro-inflammatory food. So when we take this kind of food, it can actually trigger the immune system to increase the immune response. So when there's an immune response, the body gets inflamed, right? So that is why we either totally avoid or cut down. Okay, the best foods are whole foods, organic, right? So a lot of people ask me, Dr. Steph, if I were to take frozen food, but it's still vegetable, can or cannot? So the thing is, number one, yes, it is a vegetable, but it's already packed. It could be processed. They could it could have they could have added some preservatives inside. They could have added some chemicals inside to ferment. We don't know. So the best is to actually eat fresh whole food. Okay. So how do we heal the gut? We actually follow the 5R approach. So number one is to remove the food triggers and potential toxin that can cause the inflammation in the body. And then after removing, replace, right? After you replace, you maybe take vegetables, take plant-based protein, easy for your digestion, improve your digestive enzymes, improve your nutrient intake. Then later on, re-inoculate, right? Take the probiotics, the prebiotics, right? All this is to grow back the good and bad bacteria. It's to balance back the body. And then, of course, repair. So repair is where you can use supplementation to actually fix the walls and the cells of the body. Now, remember, cells is ever changing. Cells die, but it can grow back. The only time our cells stop growing is when we stop breathing, right? And then rebalance. Rebalance, how do we do that? Your stress level, your lifestyle, your sleep. The most important is sleep. A lot of people now are very hooked on their phone or watching Netflix. Their body goes under oxidative stress and mitochondrial dysfunction even without realizing. Young children are hooked on games, right? They are so into the electronic world, they forget that their body is aging. So as young as 12 years old or 18 years old, you may have high inflammation. And what happens is insomnia, moodiness, cranky, things like that. All this will come. Okay, so lifestyle factors that can support the heart, the gut, is basically mindfulness and gratitude. Always be positive and kind to yourself. Forgive yourself first, and then you will see the world around you being more positive. You know, this is like the law of attraction. Of course, again, quality sleep, regular exercise, which Coach Ho will talk about this later, stress management, hydration. So the body is about 80% cells, right? Cells, 80% made of water. So if you do not drink water and you are dehydrated, then you are going to have thick blood and joint pains and so on and so forth, right? So we have to take care from the cellular level. There are many, many factors that trigger inflammation. It is not just one factor that can cause diabetes or one factor that can cause cholesterol. There are many factors to look at. So in summary, a healthy gut equals a healthy body. So the gut actually influences our hormones and immune system, mood, the nervous system, so on and so forth. Testing and getting guided nutrition can actually give you a better result, optimum result, right, for healing. So a balanced microbiome equals better health. So this is Eternal Clinic and Wellness. So these are our locations. Of course, our HQ is located at the Minds Beach Resort, just next to the Minds Beach Resort Hotel. We also have centers at Neo Damansara. We have centers at Clearwater, Sri Kembangan, and of course here in Penang. And our operating hours are as shown. So please feel free to drop by. This is our contact number. Our contact number is stated there, so you can always WhatsApp or even give us a call to make an appointment, right? So the take-home message is all disease begins in the gut. So if you heal your gut, your mind and your body will follow. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stephanie, for the wonderful talk. Okay, I'm sure many of us learned a lot of new information regarding the gut, which I myself am pretty sure that I learned quite a few things today. And I'm very curious as to find out like how does the gut actually relate to exercise? Because like for me, I know that when you exercise, you will need to refuel your body. That's why I'm looking forward to hearing Coach Ho's presentation because I'm pretty sure he'll be able to provide us with some form of how do you put it? Some form of link, as in the great connector as to why exercise and our diet is very important.
Thank you, Dr. Stephanie, for the enlightening sharing about the gut health and how it relates to illness and sickness and all that, right? Sometimes when we think about the gut, we just assume that it's just the stomach. No, the gut is actually starting from the mouth all the way to the anus, right? It's one whole large tube, and there are so many factors at play when we talk about gut health. In fact, it is such a big topic. 1 hour just will not do justice to it. But today I am going to share how, like what Bernard say, how exercise or movement in general, and gut health is interrelated, right? It is actually a forgotten link where exercise, your digestion, and and your energy levels are related. Okay. So for those who don't know me, first let me introduce myself. Right, my name is Ho Yawen. Most people call me Coach Ho. I have about 23 plus years of engineering experience, which I apply that kind of like science-backed, data-driven, all facts and data engineering precision skill set into health and fitness coaching. So I've been doing this for close to 10 years now. I am coaching throughout the whole country, mainly in online basis, right? I have participants of my program and clients all the way from Tenom, Sabah, Johor Bahru, Labuan, Kuala Terengganu, everywhere, right? Almost everywhere. So, as far as my credentials is concerned, I am a certified body composition and fat loss specialist. I don't call myself personal trainer because they are just mainly focused on exercise. And my certification mainly comes from FIT Malaysia and also certification from the Australian Strength Performance based in Melbourne. Right? I have trained close to hundreds of Malaysians in my experience, from busy executives all the way to stay-at-home moms, right? And my clients have this age range of like almost like I think young adults in their 20s all the way to grandmas in their 70s, right? So other than coaching, I also a book author. I also give my opinions and wrote a few articles for magazine and also newspaper, right? You can find my articles in Caliber magazine. If you are a public mutual gold member, you know what this magazine is all about. And I think it was last year where I was asked to give my opinion on teenagers and their sedentary lifestyle, how they can be healthy, because we are now living in a country where we are facing a pandemic of obesity. 1 out of 2 Malaysians are obese or overweight. It is not something that we should be proud of. And I'll just say it straight in your face. It is not something that we should be proud of that 50% of Malaysians are just overweight and obese. We need to do better, right? So my role as a coach is to help Malaysia become better. I was also invited, I think it was I can't remember. I think it was during the COVID pandemic, where during the lockdowns, I was invited by this radio station called IFM. It is a Chinese-based radio station where they asked me on opinions of how do we exercise at home when we can't even go outside. All right. So this is me when I was a little bit chubby and extra cute. And that's how I look like nowadays, right? So I personally went through my own transformation myself. So I know what I'm talking about when I'm coaching my clients because I've lived through it. So the next slide. Okay, so let's go straight to the topic, right? So truth about exercise. When we talk about exercise, right, it's not just about like, just want to sweat or just to build muscle, or, oh, okay, I'm obese, I just want to burn fat, right? It's not just about that. In fact, there are good studies and in fact, this is just one example of it from Delton, 2019 studies. Your gut, right? Your gut actually feel it when you are moving. Every squats that you do, every push-ups, every walk that you make every single day, and even every breath as you are performing the exercise, your gut actually feels it. In fact, your muscle is not just for show or for you to look fit and good and sexy. Your muscle is actually an endocrine organ. What does it mean? That means your muscle actually produces hormones. I think Dr. Stephanie earlier also mentioned that when you fix your gut, right, you increase your serotonin, which is your happy hormone. And this serotonin also helps your gut to move food down the tube much better, right? 70% of the serotonin, that neurotransmitter, is produced in the gut. So when you exercise, that actually helps to boost that serotonin production. Now, modern health problems, right? And I list down just a few of them. I'm sure some of you may be also experiencing at least one of these problems, like bloating. Have you ever ate something or for God knows what reasons, you suddenly your stomach or your gut suddenly feel very bloated, right? In Malay, they call perut berangin. or acid reflux after you eat something or you don't eat or you miss your meal, then you start to have acid reflux where it hurts and burns your throat, right? Or you could also have very sluggish metabolism, right? You eat very little bit and you put on like extra 2 kilograms for, out of thin air. Because these are signs of sluggish metabolism. Now, all this also comes from being sedentary, right? You just don't move as you should, right? The human body is created and designed beautifully in such a way that you are supposed to be active and move throughout the day, not sit in front of the computer for 8 hours, not lie down on the bed with your Netflix and whatever, right? You are designed to move. So if you are sedentary and at the same time you pair that with eating the wrong food mismatches, right? Then you slowly will have all these modern health problems. It's not just about, oh, I have very poor digestion. No, it's not just about that. It's actually movement as well, right? Now, when you have suboptimal digestion, your gut don't break down the food optimally, right? Certain food you eat, then you start to feel bloated, or your hands or eyes starts to feel itchy. You feel very tired, or some of them could even have like constipation or even diarrhea, right? Now, when you have all these problems, it affects your performance, right? You just don't have the energy throughout the day to do your work, take care of your family, right? And it affects your sleep as well, right? When you're tired, very tired, but because of very poor digestion, it affects your sleep. You are tired, but you just can't fall into sleep. Your mood, when you don't have enough sleep, when your energy levels are low, you can't be a very happy and optimistic person. You are bad mood and get angry for no reason, right? So all these are related. Now, how can exercise support your digestion? In fact, physical activity increases blood flow. Right? When you exercise, you can jog, you can lift weights like me, right? We lift very heavy, pick up very heavy things from the ground and then putting it back and then repeat many times, right? All these are physical activities. It helps to improve the blood flow. And when your blood flow is running very smoothly, it helps to deliver nutrients, right? Like your vitamins, proteins, fats, glucose, and your minerals, everything, right? Phytonutrients. It delivers all this good stuff that your cells and organs needs more effectively. Now, I always tell my clients and students, where you send blood is where you send function. When you are eating, a lot of blood goes to your digestive system to break down the food, take the nutrients to where it is supposed to be. When you exercise, blood is sent to your muscles so that you can perform that particular exercise. So you should send blood to where it is needed the most at the right time. Now, this answers the question of, can I eat first before I exercise? Actually, better not, right? Okay, now resistance training from a very good study from Ibanez, a 2005 study, shows that it helps to enhance your insulin sensitivity. Now, my friends, obesity and putting on a lot of body fat is generically an insulin problem, right? You're taking way too much glucose than your body can handle. Now, if you perform resistance training, that means lift weights, right? And some of you may ask, hey, I don't go to the gym. Or how should I do? Hey, your body is also a weight. Can you do push up on the floor? Can you do squats? Those are also considered resistance training. It enhances your body's ability to absorb glucose better, right? And when your body can absorb glucose better and use it during the exercise and also other functions throughout the day, it helps to improve your gut health, especially the gut barrier integrity. Now, Dr. Stephanie earlier showed a graph where actually your gut is one cell thick, and then that's where your food gets absorbed into the bloodstream, right? A lot of people, I feel, this is my personal opinion, a lot of people, a lot of Malaysians, they already have poor gut integrity, right? So if you do exercise, you reduce your glucose level, you increase your insulin sensitivity, inflammation in your body goes down, automatically your gut become healthier. Now, when you exercise, and I'm very sure you breathe when you exercise. If you don't, that's how I know you're not alive. So when you exercise, right, you take deep breath like that. Okay. Now when you're performing this kind of like deep breathing, your body, the breathing activity actually acts like a natural massage for your gut, for your intestine, right? When you're lifting heavy weights and then putting it down, then you release your breath, you take deep breath again. Those are actually massage for your intestine. Now, if you don't exercise, you don't move, you sit throughout the day and you don't not just sit, you just sit and eat at the same time throughout the day, then it leads to things like constipation, you're keeping a lot of gas in your gut, right? And when you eat, the food actually translates slower down, right? So movement, exercise, deep breathing actually helps your gut health a lot. And it regulates stress level. When you exercise, you also helps to regulate your stress. Now, certain exercise can help to lower the stress. Certain exercise like very high intense interval training, yes, it increases the stress a little bit, but those are considered acute, healthy, good stress. That kind of stress we want. The stress that we don't want is the stress that is chronic throughout the day. Those low-grade inflammation kind of stress, right? Now, if you can regulate your stress better, it actually helps to better the digestion and nutrient absorption. And it automatically helps to protect your gastrointestinal tract. That means when you are lowering your stress through proper exercise, through proper food, right, your gut health automatically improves. Okay, I did not pull this out of thin air. All these are studies that I have put down the references here. Now, look at me. This is a picture of myself, right? Food intolerance and exercise outcomes. Now, if you are someone who is already training, oh, you tell me I go jogging every day, I do brisk walking, whatever exercise you're doing, right? But over time, you start to see that your progress stall or you reach what we usually call a plateau. You try hard, you train hard, you eat the so-called best diet in the world, you take your supplements, your protein powder, whatever, but you start to see that, hey, what's wrong? How come I'm not losing body fat anymore, right? Now, this could be caused by food intolerance. When you are eating food that your gut cannot tolerate, you're actually introducing low-grade inflammation within your gut. You know that your gut cannot tolerate that food and you keep eating it. So it increases the stress within the gut environment. Now, what are the common trigger foods that is causing all this low-grade inflammation? Dr. Stephanie already shared earlier. Dairy, anything made from milk, it may be one of the reasons why your progress stalls. Egg whites is one of them. Now, notice that I put down egg whites, not the whole egg, right? For some strange reason, people are generically more sensitive to egg whites rather than the egg yolk. Don't ask me, it's just the way it is, right? And then some people are intolerant to certain nuts and maybe some seeds. Now, I hope by now you guys should understand the difference between allergy and intolerance. Allergy is, is like you ate something and then your immune system doesn't like it. It start attacking the food. You may have like your eyes get swollen. Some people may have a problem breathing, right? Intolerance does not involve the immune system, right? It's just your gut don't like that kind of food and it has a low grade inflammation. You won't die, right? So intolerance, as I mentioned, raises gut stress. And when your gut is stressed, it cannot absorb the food that you eat optimally. You may have the most expensive, perfect imported food in the world. And if your gut cannot break it down and absorb it optimally, you are just passing that food from your mouth to the back behind. That's all. That's all. You are just a food passing machine. All right. So people always say, you are what you eat. No, I disagree. You are what you can break down. You are what you can absorb into your body. That is more accurate. So if you cannot absorb the right nutrients and all the minerals and phytonutrients and all that, how are you going to build healthy new muscle cells, muscle protein synthesis? How are you going to burn fat? In fact, all this chronic low-grade inflammation over time will increase fat storage, especially at your belly area. A lot of people ask me, Coach, how do I reduce my belly fat? Hello, this may be one of the main reasons. So if you're unaware and you try to fix the problem by yourself. Some will go for, oh, I go for extra classes. Let me train harder. Let me spend, instead of 1 hour, let me just go from one class to another in the gym. Right now, today, we have 24 hours gym. You can literally eat, sleep, and do whatever you want in the gym the whole day, right? Or maybe I should cut more calories. Well, are these the right approach or not? We need to think smarter about how we approach our health when it comes to training, nutrition, and recovery. Now, I have clients who come to me with stubborn fat problem. In fact, I show this picture of myself. On the left, I was trying to lose body fat. I have this aim of trying to show my six packs for fun, actually, right? But for some reason, no matter what I did, I just could not lose that last few percent of body fat. Then I realized that, oh, I am eating something my gut doesn't like. All right. And my clients, similarly, when they are facing stubborn belly fat, I ask them, what is the food that they usually eat every day? Right. Now, once they remove those food that they are not tolerant, the body changes almost immediately, like within the next few days, within the same week. So one very common question I get asked all the time, because of convenience, because I'm so busy, because I have no time, can I eat eggs for breakfast every morning? What is the answer? Yes, no, not sure. You should call Dr. Stephanie and test yourself, right? You should call Dr. Stephanie. Don't try to waste time and, go in a circle and going nowhere. Now, I went to Dr. Stephanie one day and I asked her, hey, you got food intolerance test? And she said, yeah, I like to do it now. The nice thing about food intolerance test is that you don't need to fast. You can just drop in at 5:30 in the evening and just Dr. Stephanie will just draw your blood and send to the lab very easily. Okay. So this is my personal food intolerance test result. Okay. They test against 60 different foods. All the items in green means that my gut can handle them. No problem. Okay. I can eat that. Not as much as I want. It's just that I can eat them and would not have any issues with intolerance. The ones in red means that my gut, for some reason, just do not like it, cannot handle it. I cannot take hazelnut for whatever reason, right? And you can see I'm also intolerant to shrimp. The udang, not my favorite, but now I know I should avoid shrimp as much as possible. And as I mentioned earlier, egg white. Egg white is one of the most common intolerance I see in almost everybody, especially in the bodybuilding circle. Bodybuilders, they claim that, oh, I can eat 20 eggs per day and so on, right? So yeah, you can see the blood test, facts and data don't lie. Now, the one that is strange and quite funny to me is that my gut actually do not like banana. You can see at the bottom, right? My gut just do not like banana. So I don't eat banana, and there are so many other fruits in the world that I can enjoy, right? So the thing about this test is that when it shows up as red, does it mean I should avoid it forever? The answer is no. You just stay away from it for a while, right? See how your body changes. Does it feel better? Do you feel better? Do you start losing body fat? Do you start putting on muscle? Can you sleep better? How is your energy level? Ask yourself all these questions. Then if you are okay already, then you can slowly reintroduce all this food that you're intolerant back into your nutrition program, your diet. And if your body flare up again, react negatively again, then yeah, there are so many other foods in the world, right? So you can always choose to eat anything else. Right. So movement is also medicine. Exercise is actually communication to your gut. When you're moving, when you're lifting weights, when you're doing all this exercise, you're actually talking to your gut, right? In my teaching, the way I structured my program in every program that I write is always based on 3 pillars for optimal health. It's always optimal nutrition. You must eat what your body can tolerate. You must eat what your body deserves. Exercise is non-negotiable. You must move. You must move. I know everybody is busy. I know everybody is having this responsibility and all that, right? But last I checked, 24 hours in Penang is the same as 24 hours in Sri Kembangan. So everybody is busy, but you need to prioritize your health. Without good health, whatever you're spending time busy with is not going to be worth it at all. All right. And recovery. Recovery is something that most people do not pay attention to, especially those who are like 40s and above. They think they are still in their 20s, right? So recovery, when you train hard, when you eat the right food, but are you focusing on having good rest, good sleep, managing your stress? These are under the pillar of recovery. So start moving more, train. I don't care what kind of exercise. If you are sedentary today, move at least 3 times a week, maximum 1 hour. 1 hour, 3 times a week. That is like about 1.7% of the total time within a week. Please tell me that you have at least 1.7% of the time within a week just to move. I'm sure you do. Eat what your body truly tolerates, not what is viral and trendy. One thing I don't like about social media is that I always recommend all this like super delicious food and this viral that and that. It's really horrible, right? And becomes trendy, right? So food to me, to Coach Ho and all his students is nourishment. We nourish our body with good food, not as entertainment. If you tell me you like eating because it's fun, something is really wrong, right? Food is supposed to fuel your body, not for you to cure boredom. Natural whole foods is always a priority. Now, it is quite sad today that even a lot of people do not really understand what is natural whole foods anymore. Now, I make it very simple. If your caveman ancestor do not have access to that food that you are looking at, then that is not really natural whole foods. For example, have you ever seen a tree that grows pizza? Or have you ever seen a river that has teh tarik flowing? Very simple. Very simple. Right? Ask this question, then you know whether you should put those things into your mouth or not. Lastly, focus on recovery. A good quality sleep is always the easiest and free way to rest the gut. When you're sleeping, you're not eating. So that's the time where your body heals itself. And when your body is healing itself, have chance to recover, then you start to lose body fat. So if you have a goal of like, one day I want to have a 6-pack so that I can go to the beach and show off to my kids or whatever, hey, by all means, maybe you should start to think about proper nutrition, eat food that your gut can tolerate, exercise, right? If you want to exercise by yourself, there's a lot of information out there, right? By all means, go ahead. And if you need professional help, I'm always here. There's so many coaches around, right? And also recovery. Always focus on recovery. What is the usual bedtime for you? Just ask yourself that. If you are consistently sleeping at 1, 2 a.m. just because of that extra Netflix episode or what, maybe it's time you need to prioritize your health, starting with recovery. And with that, that's all I want to share. My company is Whole Health Fitness, and I want to make sure that everybody having good health by being optimal and not just being a normal. All right. Thank you.